Standing in front of my bedroom mirror, I could still hear my mother's words. "You need to lose at least 20 pounds before Madison's wedding. We cannot have you looking awkward in the photos." My sister's wedding was just 5 months away. Little did I know that losing weight would reveal something far more painful than my reflection. Before I share what happened, I would love to know where you are watching from. Please hit like and subscribe. Now let me tell you how this request changed everything. My name is Courtney, and I have lived my entire 28 years in suburban Dallas, Texas, as the younger sister in what many would consider a typical middle-class American family. Growing up, our household revolved around my older sister, Madison, who seemed to effortlessly embody everything my parents valued. At 5 feet 7 inches tall, with naturally blonde hair and a slender frame that never required any effort to maintain, Madison was their shining star. Meanwhile, I stood 5 feet 4 inches and weighed around 170 pounds, which became a constant source of what my mother called loving concern. Our family dynamics had always been complicated, particularly regarding appearance and social expectations. My mother, Linda, worked as a real estate agent and prided herself on maintaining perfect appearances for her clients and social circle. My father, Robert, managed a successful accounting firm and generally stayed quiet during family discussions, usually supporting whatever position my mother took. Their attention and praise consistently flowed toward Madison, while I received well-intentioned but painful criticisms disguised as helpful suggestions. The conversation that changed my life happened on a Saturday evening in January when our family gathered around the dining room table to discuss Madison's upcoming June wedding. Madison had just announced her engagement to Derek, a successful engineer she had met through mutual friends, and the wedding planning process was in full swing. The excitement in the room was palpable as Madison showed us photos of potential venues and described her vision for the perfect celebration. "I have finally chosen the bridesmaid dresses," Madison announced, pulling out her phone to show us elegant, form-fitting navy blue gowns that would require confidence to wear well. "The photographer I hired charges premium rates because he guarantees magazine-quality photos, so every detail needs to be absolutely perfect." That was when my mother turned to me with that familiar expression of concern mixed with determination. "Honey, we need to have an honest conversation about your role in this wedding. Madison has invested so much in making this day flawless, and we want you to feel confident standing beside her." The words that followed felt like a physical blow. "You need to lose at least 20 pounds before the wedding. We cannot have you looking uncomfortable or out of place in the photos. 5 months gives you plenty of time if you commit seriously to this goal." I looked across the table at Madison, hoping for some support or defense, but she simply nodded in agreement while scrolling through more wedding photos on her phone. My father remained silent, occasionally nodding, when my mother looked in his direction for confirmation. The days following that conversation were filled with a mixture of hurt feelings and determined resolve. I spent hours researching diet programs and exercise routines, trying to find the healthiest approach to achieve their expectations. My best friend Sarah encouraged me during our coffee meetings, saying, "If you decide to do this, make sure you are doing it for yourself first, not just to please them." After much consideration, I decided to join FitCore, a local gym known for its supportive environment and professional trainers. I scheduled a consultation with Jake, a certified personal trainer who specialized in sustainable weight loss and strength building. During our first meeting, Jake emphasized the importance of setting realistic goals and developing healthy habits that would last beyond the wedding date. "We are going to focus on losing 30 pounds through a combination of cardiovascular exercise, strength training, and nutritional changes," Jake explained. "This approach will help you build confidence while improving your overall health and energy levels." I committed to a workout schedule of 5 days per week, alternating between cardio sessions and strength training. Additionally, I completely overhauled my eating habits, eliminating processed foods and focusing on meal preparation with lean proteins, vegetables, and complex carbohydrates. The combination of physical activity and proper nutrition began to show results quickly, though the journey required significant mental and emotional strength. The first month of my transformation journey brought unexpected challenges, along with encouraging progress. My new routine required waking up at 5:30 each morning to complete workouts before heading to my job at a marketing firm in downtown Dallas. The combination of cardiovascular exercises and strength training left me physically exhausted initially, but Jake assured me that my energy levels would improve as my body adapted to the increased activity. Meal preparation became a weekend ritual that required careful planning and dedication. I spent Sunday afternoons cooking grilled chicken, steaming vegetables, and portioning brown rice into containers for the upcoming week. This approach eliminated the temptation to grab unhealthy convenience foods during busy workdays, though it required significant changes to my social life and eating patterns. The physical challenges were accompanied by constant monitoring from my family members. My mother called every few days to check on my progress, offering unsolicited advice about various diet trends she had heard about from her real estate clients. Madison seemed largely indifferent to my efforts, occasionally making comments about bridesmaid dress fittings and wedding timelines without acknowledging the work I was putting in. By the end of January, I lost 8 pounds and noticed that my clothes were fitting more comfortably. This small victory provided the motivation I needed to continue pushing through the difficult moments when cravings and fatigue threatened to derail my progress. More importantly, I began to notice improvements in my confidence levels and overall mood that extended beyond physical changes. February and March brought significant momentum to my transformation journey. The workout routine that had initially felt overwhelming became a natural part of my daily schedule, and I found myself looking forward to the endorphin boost that followed each training session. Jake introduced new exercises and increased the intensity of my workouts as my strength and endurance improved dramatically. My colleagues at the marketing firm began noticing the changes in my appearance and energy levels. Angela, my supervisor, complimented me on my professional presence during client meetings, noting that I seemed more confident and engaged in presentations. These positive reinforcements from my work environment provided additional motivation that had nothing to do with wedding preparations or family expectations. By the end of March, I had lost 18 pounds and felt stronger than I had in years. The physical transformation was accompanied by mental changes that surprised me. I found myself speaking up more during team meetings, volunteering for challenging projects, and generally approaching my professional responsibilities with increased enthusiasm and confidence. However, the family dynamics began shifting in unexpected ways during this period. While my mother expressed satisfaction with my progress, she started making additional suggestions about hairstyles and makeup choices for the wedding. Madison became increasingly distant, making subtle, critical comments about my new workout clothes or meal preparation habits. April brought major breakthroughs that extended far beyond my original weight loss goals. I had lost 25 pounds by this point and felt incredible both physically and mentally. The bridesmaid dress required significant alterations to accommodate my new measurements, which created both satisfaction and tension within the family dynamic. Professional opportunities began presenting themselves in ways I had never experienced before. My company scheduled new employee headshots, and the photographer commented on how photogenic I looked, suggesting I consider modeling work if I ever wanted a career change. Male colleagues who had previously treated me as invisible began engaging in friendly conversations and inviting me to join work social events. The most significant development was the romantic interest shown by Marcus, a talented graphic designer who worked in our creative department. We had worked together on various projects for over 2 years, but he suddenly began asking me to grab coffee and extending our work conversations into personal topics. His attention felt genuine and respectful, unlike anything I had experienced in previous relationships. However, the positive changes in my life created unexpected friction with Madison. She became increasingly critical of my appearance, making comments about how my new confidence seemed attention-seeking, and inappropriate for someone in a supporting role at her wedding. My mother began sending mixed messages expressing pride in my progress, while also voicing concerns about me changing too much too fast. May arrived with the achievement of my goal and the revelation of my family's true feelings. I had successfully lost 30 pounds and felt better than ever before in my life. The final bridesmaid dress fitting went perfectly, and I looked forward to celebrating Madison's special day while feeling confident and healthy. Unfortunately, this final month before the wedding also revealed warning signs of deeper family issues that I had not previously recognized. Madison's resentment toward my transformation became increasingly obvious through passive-aggressive comments and deliberate exclusion from wedding-related activities. My mother started making subtle suggestions about toning down my appearance or behavior to avoid overshadowing the bride. The wedding weekend arrived with beautiful weather and high expectations, but it quickly became clear that my transformation had created problems I never anticipated. The venue was a stunning lakeside resort about an hour outside Dallas with elegant decorations and professional photography setups that promised to create lasting memories for everyone involved. When I arrived for the rehearsal dinner on Friday evening, the immediate reaction from wedding guests was overwhelmingly positive. Extended family members who had not seen me since the previous holiday season were amazed by my transformation and eager to hear about my weight loss journey. Several guests asked for diet and exercise tips, while others complimented my confidence and overall appearance. Madison's discomfort became evident during the group photos when the photographer naturally positioned me prominently in several shots. My transformation had created a visual balance that worked well for professional photography, but Madison clearly felt threatened by the attention I was receiving from guests and vendors alike. The situation escalated during Saturday morning preparations in the bridal suite. Madison was having her hair and makeup professionally done when a group of her college friends arrived and immediately began complimenting my appearance. One friend even asked if I was single and whether she could give my number to her brother who lived in Dallas. Madison's composure finally cracked when she overheard these conversations. "This is my wedding day, not yours," she snapped at me in front of everyone. "I am tired of you making everything about your little transformation story. Can you please just try to remember whose day this is supposed to be?" The silence in the room was deafening as professional stylists and bridesmaids tried to pretend they had not witnessed this outburst. I apologized quietly and retreated to a corner, but the damage to the morning's atmosphere was already done. The wedding ceremony proceeded beautifully despite the earlier tension. Madison looked absolutely stunning in her dress, and Derek seemed genuinely happy and excited to be marrying her. I focused on fulfilling my bridesmaid duties professionally and tried to minimize any actions that might draw additional attention away from the couple. However, the reception brought new challenges that I had not anticipated. Several single groomsmen asked me to dance, and I found myself enjoying conversations with interesting people who seemed genuinely attracted to my personality and appearance. For the first time in my life, I felt socially confident and comfortable in a formal social setting. This positive attention did not go unnoticed by my family members. My mother pulled me aside during the cocktail hour with a stern expression and harsh words. "You need to tone down this behavior immediately. You are overshadowing Madison on her own wedding day. We asked you to lose weight to fit into the dress, not to become a completely different person who steals attention from the bride." The confrontation continued in the bathroom, where we could speak more privately. "Madison is upset your father is disappointed, and I am honestly shocked by how selfish you are being tonight. We supported your weight loss journey, but this confidence and attention-seeking behavior is completely inappropriate." Madison found us in the bathroom and joined the attack with even harsher words. "I regret having you as my bridesmaid. You have completely ruined my special day with your desperate need for attention. I wish you had just stayed the way you were before." My father finally spoke up when I attempted to defend myself, but his words provided no comfort or support. "Your mother and sister are right, Courtney. You have gotten a bit carried away with this whole transformation thing. Maybe it is time to get back to being yourself again." Standing in that bathroom, listening to my entire immediate family criticize me for achieving exactly what they had demanded, I experienced a moment of painful clarity. They had wanted me to improve my appearance to avoid embarrassing them in wedding photos, but they had never intended for me to become confident, attractive, or socially successful. They preferred me insecure and grateful for their acceptance, rather than independent and self-assured. The final straw came later in the reception when Madison's new husband, Derek, privately told me that I looked incredible and seemed really happy. Madison overheard this innocent compliment and immediately demanded that I leave the reception early. "You have done enough damage for one night. Please just go home so the rest of us can enjoy what is left of my wedding." I gathered my belongings and drove home alone, processing the devastating realization that my transformation had revealed my family's true nature rather than creating new problems. They were comfortable with me as long as I remained in a subordinate role that did not threaten their own self-image or social standing. The weeks following Madison's wedding brought continued hostility and attempts at manipulation from my family members. Our group chat suddenly excluded me from conversations about wedding photos and thank you card planning. My mother called regularly to demand that I return to normal behavior and stop acting like you are better than the rest of us. Madison began spreading negative stories about my behavior at the wedding to extended family members, painting me as jealous and attention-seeking. Family gatherings became hostile environments where I felt unwelcome and constantly criticized for my appearance, confidence, or professional success. The toxic behavior from my family following Madison's wedding forced me to make difficult decisions about my future relationships and personal boundaries. I realized that continuing to seek their approval would require sacrificing the confidence and self-respect I had worked so hard to develop through my transformation journey. My first step was scheduling regular therapy sessions with Dr. Patricia Williams, a psychologist who specialized in family dynamics and toxic relationship patterns. Through our conversations, I learned about narcissistic family systems, scapegoating behaviors, and the ways that some families punish members who outgrow their assigned roles. Your family created a dynamic where you served as the problem child who made them feel better about themselves, Dr. Williams explained. When you became confident and successful, you no longer filled that role which threatened their established hierarchy and self-perception. The therapy sessions provided me with tools for setting healthy boundaries and recognizing manipulation tactics. I learned to limit my contact with family members who consistently undermine my self-worth and to prioritize relationships with people who genuinely celebrated my growth and happiness. My career flourished as I channeled my newfound confidence into professional opportunities. The marketing firm promoted me to senior marketing coordinator, which included leading major campaigns and representing the company at industry events. Public speaking, which had previously terrified me, became an enjoyable aspect of my job that showcased my knowledge and communication skills. The promotion also expanded my professional network within the Dallas business community. I attended conferences, networking events, and industry meetups where I met successful people who appreciated my skills and insights. These professional relationships provided positive reinforcement that contrasted sharply with my family's constant criticism and negativity. My relationship with Marcus developed into something genuinely meaningful and supportive. Unlike my previous dating experiences, which had been characterized by insecurity and people-pleasing behaviors, this relationship was built on mutual respect and shared interests. Marcus celebrated my professional successes, supported my fitness goals, and never attempted to diminish my confidence or achievements. We spent weekends exploring Dallas together, trying new restaurants, attending cultural events, and building a social life filled with positive, encouraging people. For the first time, I experienced what healthy relationships actually felt like when both people wanted the best for each other. My continued commitment to health and fitness evolved beyond weight maintenance into a genuine lifestyle that brought me joy and stress relief. I joined a weekend hiking group that explored trails around Texas, participated in local 5-kilometer races, and discovered a love for outdoor activities that connected me with like-minded individuals. I also moved into my own apartment in a trendy area of Dallas, creating a living space that reflected my personality and interests. The independence of having my own home, decorated according to my preferences and free from family judgment, provided a sanctuary where I could continue growing into the person I was becoming. My family made several desperate attempts to regain control over my choices and self-perception during this period of growth. Madison's marriage began experiencing significant problems within the first year, and she started calling me for emotional support while simultaneously maintaining that I had ruined her wedding day. My mother alternated between guilt trips about family loyalty and attempts to sabotage my confidence with critical comments about my appearance, career choices, or relationship with Marcus. Holiday invitations came with strings attached and expectations that I would return to my previous role as the insecure family member who absorbed their negativity. Extended family members began reaching out after hearing Madison's version of wedding events, but many of them were receptive to hearing my perspective and understanding the larger pattern of behavior I had endured. Some relatives expressed regret for not recognizing the family dynamics sooner and offered support for my decision to establish boundaries. My father made a few half-hearted attempts at reconciliation, but he remained unwilling to acknowledge any wrongdoing or take responsibility for his role in the toxic family patterns. His attempts felt more like efforts to restore family harmony than genuine recognition of how their behavior had affected me. The most meaningful development during this period was my decision to help other women facing similar challenges with toxic family relationships. I started participating in online support groups where women shared stories about families who punished them for success, confidence, or independence. These conversations revealed that my experience was unfortunately common, particularly among women whose families preferred them to remain insecure and dependent. Sharing my story and offering support to others provided additional confirmation that my decision to prioritize my own well-being was correct and necessary. 2 years after Madison's wedding, my life had transformed completely. I was thriving professionally, personally, and emotionally in ways I had never imagined possible. Marcus proposed during a weekend trip to Austin, and we began planning a wedding where I would be celebrated for exactly who I had become rather than criticized for not fitting someone else's expectations. My relationship with my immediate family settled into limited contact that protected my emotional health while leaving the door open for future reconciliation if they chose to change their behavior. I spent holidays with Marcus's family and our chosen friend group creating new traditions that brought joy rather than stress. The support groups I participated in evolved into informal mentorship relationships where I helped women recognize toxic family patterns and develop strategies for protecting their self-worth. This work provided additional meaning to my own journey and confirmed that my painful experiences could serve a positive purpose for others. Looking back on the weight loss journey that had started with such simple goals, I realized that the physical transformation had been the least important aspect of my growth. The confidence, self-respect, and healthy relationships I had developed were worth far more than any family approval I had previously sought. My transformation taught me that real family members celebrate your success rather than punishing you for it. The people who truly love you want to see you confident, healthy, and happy, not diminished and dependent on their approval. Sometimes, the greatest gift life can give you is the clarity to recognize who genuinely supports your growth versus who only wants you to serve their emotional needs. Today, I am not just physically healthier than I was 3 years ago. I am emotionally free from the burden of constantly trying to earn love and acceptance from people who were never going to provide it unconditionally. That freedom has allowed me to build genuine relationships, pursue meaningful goals, and become the person I was always meant to be, rather than the person others wanted to shape me into. The woman I became was not the one they wanted to control, but she was exactly who I needed to be. What would you do if your family asked you to change something about yourself only to punish you when that change made you more confident and successful? Have you ever experienced similar situations where people in your life preferred you insecure rather than thriving? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and if this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life experiences. Do not forget to share this video with someone who might need to hear this message about the importance of choosing your own happiness over toxic family approval. Thank you so much for listening to my story, and I hope it inspires you to never dim your light for people who prefer you in the shadows. Remember, you deserve to be celebrated for who you are becoming, not criticized for outgrowing who you used to be.